pension returns with market stability. In local news, Busan City announced a strengthened vacant home redevelopment plan. The city will invest 2 billion Korean won next year to move beyond simple demolition and convert vacant houses into facilities residents need, such as remote work vacation spaces and cultural venues. This year, 5 vacant homes were turned into a dormitory for international students and a recreated one-room home of artist Lee Jung-sub. Next year, homes near beaches and tourist areas will be renovated as shared lodging for locals and visitors. The city will also expand tax reductions, create artist studios, and streamline procedures for faster demolition. A comprehensive winter plan for 2025 was announced by the city of Busan to support public welfare and safety. The city will roll out 29 major tasks across welfare, safety, health, and daily living. For vulnerable households, Busan will expand emergency assistance for living, housing, heating, and medical needs while improving access to welfare information through its online portal. The city will also strengthen its welfare information services and supply essentials to disaster victims. To prepare for heavy snow and cold waves, districts received 460 million won in advance for de-icing materials and equipment. In international news, President Donald Trump said yesterday that a Ukraine peace deal has a good possibility after U.S.-Ukraine talks in Florida, but noted Ukraine faces a few tricky issues and corruption concerns. He also confirmed a recent call with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, clarifying that U.S. airspace restrictions do not indicate an imminent military strike. And now for today's weather. Current temperatures are 15 degrees Celsius under mostly clear skies. Today's highs are expected to reach a mild 16 degrees. That wraps up this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You are listening to BEFM, 부산영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM, 부산영어방송.
Coming up next is Busan Worldwide with Stephanie Yoon. BEFM, 부산영어방송.
Good morning and welcome to Busan Worldwide. When people are faced with a crisis, they tend to respond in two very different ways. They either crumble under their emotions or they steady themselves and prepare for what comes next. Now, what really makes the difference between the two? According to Harvard Medical School's Health Publishing Division, regular physical activity lowers stress hormones and strengthens our ability to regulate emotions, becoming the foundation of resilience. A meta-analysis of 120,000 people also found that all forms of exercise, whether it's walking, yoga, or strength training, help reduce depression, anxiety, and psychological stress. Building resilience doesn't come from grand gestures. It starts with small, consistent habits, like taking the stairs during lunch or doing a 1-minute squat routine at home. 네, 회복탄력성을 키워주는 운동. 점심시간에 잠깐 하는 계단 오르기, 집에서도 금방 따라할 수 있는 1분 스쿼트. 이런 작은 습관들이 쌓여서 결국 나의 삶을 지키는 힘이 됩니다. So the strength to endure tomorrow begins not with a bold decision, but with a small movement today. Well, this is Busan Worldwide, and I'm your host, Stephanie Yoon.
This is Busan Worldwide.
window into Busan, your bridge to the world.
That's right. You're listening to Busan Worldwide Live this Monday morning. It is December 1st, and you're tuned in to BEFM, 부산영어방송, which is 90.5 FM in Busan and 103.3 FM in Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas. We have regular members here, Busan Worldwide members, messaging in, of course. Let's check out some messages. We have Benny Neem saying, hello, everyone. Happy Monday, happy December, and happy new season. And that's right. We also have Jerry Neem and Sarangdeo Neem saying, happy Monday and December. Sejin Neem and Jenny in Hong Kong Neem saying, yes, it's December already. Yes, December 1st. Hope you're really excited for this new season here at BFM, as well as Christmas season coming up as well. Now, a crisis is not the end. It's the beginning of something new. I love this perspective. And what makes that new beginning possible is resilience. 이 위기는 끝이 아니라 새로운 시작입니다. 그리고 그 시작을 가능하게 하는 힘은 바로 회복탄력성인데요. Today on the interview, we'll be joined by someone who has lived that truth. Writer 정김경숙, also known as Lois Kim. For 30 years, she worked as a communication expert, served as an executive at Google Korea, and age 52 became the global communications director at Google headquarters. Even after receiving a layoff notice during the restructuring in 2023, she didn't stop. Instead, she explored new fields and stepped into a second chapter of her life. Her journey gained wide attention through a popular talk show, and through her book, she continues to inspire others with her story. So today, we'll talk about the essence of resilience, how to turn extreme crisis into lasting growth, and how to build a personal narrative that reveals the real you behind your business card, and how physical strength fuels sustainable success. But before we jump into the interview, let's talk about today's text topic question. In your view, what are the key traits of someone who truly excels at work? Again, in your view, what are the key traits of someone who truly excels at work? 오늘의 문자 주제입니다. 여러분이 생각하는 일 잘하는 사람의 특징은 무엇인가요? You can say anything. Maybe it's time management or relationships and whatnot. And you can send your messages to pound 9050 for 101 or for free through Kakao Talk or YouTube live chat. And I would say, this could be an maybe unpopular opinion. I would say someone who excels at work is someone who can say no time to time, right? And I think when you're maybe a yes man, just saying yes to everything, I think you just overload yourself and it's too much for you, then you can't do a great job in any of that. So I think someone who knows how to say no time to time would be someone who excels at work. And it can be an unpopular opinion because not everyone can say no depending on your job, but that is my personal opinion. We also have Benini messaging in. My personal key trait would be personal success and even a positive coworker saying yes or no in right way. Yes, I think so. The way you say yes or the way you say no would be very important, and that positivity maybe brings people closer to you and makes you someone who you want to work with, right? Thank you so much for your opinion. With that, let's jump into today's main segment, The Interview.
BEFM's The Interview is waiting for your participation. If you have any interesting stories to tell or unique experiences you'd like to share with our listeners, please leave a message on our website at www.befm.or.kr. We hope that your lives and experiences can be an inspiration for our listeners.
And now it's time for The Interview. Crisis comes to everyone. What changes the future is how you accept it, endure it, and move through it. Some people collapse while others grow stronger through the very same experience. So where does that difference come from? On today's The Interview, we're joined by someone who has proven the answer through her own journey. She's a communications expert who has led the field at major global companies, and she's known for her execution power that turns crisis into opportunity. Writer Lois Kim, also known as 정김경숙, and from the secret behind real execution to people-centered efficiency, the positive energy that comes from the body, and how to build your own personal brand. We're going to talk all about this today. 네, 위기는 누구에게나 찾아오지만 그 위기를 어떻게 받아들이고 극복하느냐에 따라 미래는 완전히 달라집니다. 오늘 더 인터뷰에선 이를 직접 경험하고 실행력으로 기회를 만든 로이스김, 정김경숙 작가님과 함께 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하십니까?
안녕하세요.
네, 먼저 청취자분들께 인사와 함께 소개 부탁드릴게요.
네, 안녕하세요. 로이스킴이고요. 저는 마케팅 커뮤니케이션에서 한 30년 정도 일을 해오고 있습니다. 지금은 풀타임 잡은 없고 작가와 컨설턴트로 일을 하고 있습니다. 그리고 또 하나 저를 소개하는 거는 저는 생활체육인입니다.
네,
Okay?
네.
Yeah, let me try introduce myself in English.
Okay.
My name is Lois Kim. I spent about 30 years in marketing and communications, especially at Motorola, Lilly, and Google. These days, I consult and I write and I exercise way more than my athletic ability deserves. And thanks to appearing on UQuiz, the famous talk show, some people might know me as Google Arbeit or Google part-timer. Okay, that's about me.
Yeah, 반갑습니다. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio today. I'm very excited for today's The Interview. Now, you visited Busan for a special lecture on unlocking Busan's potential as a global logistics and startup hub. So, how did it feel to be here in our city, and what message did you want the audience to take away?
Okay. Actually, Busan is a city that excites me from the moment I booked the train ticket. Every time I come and I discover something new. Just about a month ago, I came on a little trip. I called it like visiting independent bookstores. And I spent 2 days and I discovered more than 10 little shops like bookstores. And they're really amazing. And actually, also I met a lot of young, Busan people there. And they're saying that the more local you are, the global you can become.
Right.
And I think Busan is exactly that kind of city. Its originality, its diversity, and its global openness. All of that gives Busan a very clear identity, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and it reminds me of Silicon Valley. It's full of diversity, openness, originality.
Right.
So whenever I come to Busan, I feel like that, freshness and
Right.
openness. So maybe it just attracts me.
That's true, right? And like you said, the most local things could become the most global thing. I absolutely agree. And I'm glad you got to visit some of the, independent bookstores here in Busan. There are so many.
So many.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah, they are so cute.
Yeah.
And they have this vibe of very youthful sometimes and very vintage. Sometimes
Right.
they're so different.
Right.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Much better than Seoul.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I like that. Much better than Seoul, listeners.
Yes.
Well, from your perspective, what makes Busan attractive and full of potential as a global logistics and startup hub?
Whenever I think about Busan, it reminds me of Portugal.
Yeah.
Portugal, the Lisbon is the main capital city.
Right.
But, when I think about the traveling to Portugal, if you haven't been in Porto, it's not like a completion of the
Your trip,
travel
yeah.
to Portugal. Busan is something like that. If you haven't been to Busan, it's not about the Korea travel. You
Right.
have to be in Busan.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And my mother's side is Busan. My 할머니, my aunts,
Right.
they come from Busan. And then when I was little, they are, of course, they're financially generous, but, they're very generous and they are ready to help people.
Right.
And maybe that's kind of spirit of Busan. So whenever I think of Busan, Busan is very open, but at the same time, it's very generous to help others,
Right.
Ready to help others. And then that comes from diversity and then globalness as well.
Right,
so
right.
maybe that's a kind of very uniqueness of Busan, and then that makes very different from other cities. So again, it's global, but at the same time, it's local to
Very
me.
good, yeah.
And it's really powerful.
I absolutely agree. And a lot of times I think most people would think where the city, like the capital city, would be open and diverse and
Yeah.
generous. But definitely, I absolutely agree that Busan is a city where I guess we use the word 정, but also I think that shows how people are generous to even strangers and people around you.
And another particular characteristics of being Busan or being a Busan people is 강단 있다. They're very strong.
yeah.
Yeah. So I love that part. It's a
Right.
resilience, I think.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that
Yeah.
today. So let's jump into it. After the shock of being laid off from Google, how were you able to stay calm and take action and interviewing at Trader Joe's just 3 days later?
Yeah. But, whenever I think about that moment, when I try to open that email, I mean, my email inbox of the company, I mean, it wouldn't open because they already cut the line, the network. And then I checked my personal email inbox, and then I got that email. And still now, I cannot describe the moment. And then it's so shocked. First of all, maybe I want to deny it, but that reality. But I felt unreal. Is it real? It happened to me, but it's real. And then, okay, that is real. I cannot control the situation. Then maybe I have to change myself. I mean, I cannot change the situation. Then I have to change myself.
Right.
And that is kind of full acceptance of the situation. And then, okay, then what can I do? Okay, then, I'm the person who want to be always keep myself busy, then find things I can do right away. And then, Trader Joe is one of, many things I want to do. So, okay, then let's try with the things I can do today. And then I, submit the application to Trader Joe's, and then, fortunately, I got accepted. And then I started that work within 10 days.
Oh, wow.
But it really helps me get confidence back.
Right.
When you help others, you feel your values. But if you don't, I'm in no use.
Right.
Nobody find me.
Yeah.
Nobody wants me. Then it's like, why I'm here.
Right.
So, working at Trader Joe's really build and shape my confidence back.
Yeah. Now, I absolutely agree. I think after something like that happens to you, such a big part of your life, your work, almost like your identity taken away from you. If you're just sitting at home and,
It drains
blaming,
you.
right, and you're just talking to yourself. But if you're keeping your body and your mind very busy, it becomes healthier. It's a good cycle. Now, you said in a different interview and also your books that physical strength leads to mental strength, resilience that we were talking about, and also kindness, right? So for busy professionals, how can they realistically keep up, this exercise, workout, and these challenges?
Yeah. I mean, these days, in order to be a good or high performer, there are so many things.
Right.
Like keep up, your strengths. And then you have to spend some time in your English, right? Or other languages.
Yeah.
Or you have to also be good at your domain areas, like whether it's sales or marketing or communications. And also you are part of member of your family. You have to,
You're a
do
mom,
your
you're a
responsibility,
dad,
right? There are so many things. So what I came up with is just how I can use my time more efficiently.
Okay.
So I really try to secure time for my, exercise and English. So, it's a hard decision, but as a working mom, I gave up my kids drop off.
Oh.
It's really harsh.
Yeah,
I know, but I need to secure time for
Right.
myself. I spent my morning for exercise and then learning English, and it kind of paid off for me,
Right,
right?
right.
So, and when you are strong enough, you can be generous. I mean, this is like that's your attitude,
Right.
lifelong attitude.
Yeah.
If you are like tired, how you can be nice or
Yeah,
generous?
yeah,
to
you're
others.
irritated.
Your tone changes
Yeah,
already,
like
right?
don't talk to me. I'm tired.
And then you don't want to talk to those who are always irritated or
Right.
some, not. So maybe being a healthy person, it really gives some strength, but it also leads to a good personality. So that's kind of my theory. But it's not really theory, but it's kind of proven thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
People who are happy or energetic, I always want to work with them.
Right. And you want to avoid
Right.
people who are grumpy
Right,
and
right.
mean,
Yeah.
irritated.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then I happen to know this concept, heliotropic effect. The plants, they grow toward the sunlight. Why? The sunlight is their source of energy. So it's just like that, we just share our energy with each other. And then you are energetic and I've just told you,
Right.
Because
We're
I can
drawn
get
to each other,
so
yes.
I can get energy from you. So I just want to be that kind of person.
Right.
So that's why I want to be strong, and then I want to be a good partner at work or at home. So that's why I really try to secure some time for my fitness.
Right.
It's not for myself itself. It's for me, for my family, for my work, my life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Could I ask then, in that process of deciding, okay, I will give up, dropping off my children and focus on just a little bit of time for myself, studying English and working out. How did you decide that? Like, what was your thought process?
It was not easy decision
right,
at all,
right.
right? But I think, there are certain times I can kind of, give up my kid, not really give up, but, their way, the prioritization. Until my kids reach 4 years old, maybe this the, unique or there's a, the time I can focus myself because he cannot remember what's being through, right?
Until 4,
right.
yes.
So when he reached 4 years old, I took care of fully. So, but between those days, like 0 to 4 years old, I spend a lot of time in the evenings. So I try to be balanced, to balance between my job and then my family time. So, but the morning time, I'm a morning person. So if I wake up like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, until I start my work, the whole hour is mine. But if I need to drop off my kids like in between like 7 or 8, I cannot solely focus on my my things for
Right.
these 4 or 3 hours. So maybe I just I just secure this time, but I will spend evening time with my kids. So it's kind of balanced.
Right.
How to balance?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it depends on who you are, how your
Yeah,
family
yeah,
works,
yeah,
and
yeah.
logistically
It doesn't work for everyone.
Right,
okay?
right, definitely.
It works to me.
Yeah, for you. Okay, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
And listeners, if you're just tuning in, we're in the middle of the interview with writer Lois Kim, also known as 정김경숙, here in the studio. Now, in your book, we talked about this a little bit, but in your book, 다정함도 체력에서 나옵니다, or if I can translate it, kindness comes from strength. You say real generosity comes when the body isn't exhausted. So can you share like an example of how physical stamina helped you be seen as true pro at work?
Yeah, I mean, imagine the coworkers you always want to work with.
Right.
They are always full of energy and they are full of new ideas. When you're tired, when you're drained, there's no motivation or to make up good ideas because usually at work, at company, if you come up with a new ideas, go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, we call it 총 받는다.
Yeah. You do it.
Okay, you do
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
So people do not want to, proactively
Right.
share their new ideas. But if you are strong enough and you are fully motivated and you are full of energy, then you are ready to get that work, and then so just make a good ideas, and also the usually in these days at work you have to propose the good ideas, and then that makes your work rolling, and then you have to get your budget, and you have to work with the other teams and to get consensus. So that's a way to work with. So collaboration is the must, and then you cannot work by yourself, right? So you have to be a really good partner, good coworker, and then in order to be that, you have to be a good partner. And then I think always, when you be kind, when you generous, you are the person who others always work with.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I really focus on my fitness. Yeah.
So physical strength, like you're saying, it's not just for your health, but for your work, for your relationships, for everything.
Yeah.
Right.
I have one anecdote. I think my son was, 5 or 4. I don't know. In the morning, he's cranky, right? He was cranky, and then I was really busy to prepare myself for get to work, and then I was so tired. Then my voice tone was not kind to my son, and then I always could shout, why you take kind of thing, to the little kid.
Yeah.
So at that time, wow, I have to be kind, but in order to that, I have to take care of myself. If you don't take care of yourself, how you can take care of others, right? So that's kind of my realization moment. Okay, just focus on myself. That's kind of first thing to be a good mom.
Right,
Yeah, good
definitely. And not just yourself as in like money or food, but your health, like you said. I remember as well, when I lived in America and working night shift, actually, I was like a zombie. And I remember my tone. I remember being mean to people around me. And I regret it. And now I am taking care of my health a little bit more here in Korea. I feel like generally Koreans take care of their health a little more. And I'm happier. And I think people like me better as well.
Yeah, that's true. And then back to my layoff moment. If I was not able to do this physical work at Trader Joe's or barista at Starbucks, maybe I should stay at home, and then it really, gives some, deep depression.
Right.
So I think, at that time, the physical strength really helped me to get, overcome that really crisis, life crisis.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love that you're sharing so much with us. Now, after your, Google title disappeared from Trader Joe's, your Trader Joe's experience ended up completing your personal brand. So how can someone maybe discover and define their own core brand values so they continue to shine even after leaving a company?
Yeah. Including myself, many of us, it's really struggling to introduce yourself without 명함, business card.
Right.
Or
I
your
work
company,
here. This
your
is what I do.
title, or what you're doing at an organization.
Right.
I also struggled, how I can introduce myself without the company name. So these days, like a company equal title equal myself. But I realized that it is not true. I got laid off, and then all of a sudden I don't have any title. But then I have to introduce myself. Myself doesn't disappear. I'm still me, right? So, I'm just thinking about how I can be myself and how I can be confident to introduce myself without, using business card.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing. And then, I always say that, you have to discover who you are behind the business card. And when the title disappears, what remains? Maybe it's your problem-solving ability or your consistency, your communication skills, or your marketing skills. So make the list of that strength. That's you are. That's who you are, not the business card or your title.
Right.
So kind of, I also practice. This requires practice.
Right.
Yeah. So just
I feel
try
like we
to
need
write.
an example. Do you have
just
an
try
example?
to write down. So I have an example. For myself, I always try to introduce myself not by I'm a previous or former Google communication director rather than, oh, I'm Lois. I love reading marketing trend and then telling story. I'm a storyteller. So that is my way to introduce myself. So I have one good example.
Okay.
I met this lady. I mean, she was a CMO. I mean, the chief market officer. So she used to, just use business card a lot. And then all of a sudden, she was laid off. And then she just didn't know how she defined herself. And then, we practice, how build ourselves without the business card. And then this is the thing, she came up. And then this is so lovely. So can I read it through?
Yeah.
Okay, this is how she shaped herself. I am a woman, a mother, a youngest daughter, and a co-leader of a family team. I am a designer of our family lifestyle. I am a gardener. I'm a cleaner. I'm a secretary. I am a financial officer at my home. And I'm a keeper of memories. I'm a writer. I'm sometimes a driver, sometimes a cook, always a friend, always a creator. And even though the fast train of my career has stopped for now, I have not disappeared. I'm still here, full, diverse, safely myself. Actually, whenever I read this, so emotional.
Yeah. Wow.
It's powerful, right?
It is powerful. Why is that? And I think it shows that we are so much more than just our work.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We're all crying here, but this is good. I think this is something that maybe all of us should try right at home and try to write. And even, just this 1 hour work for me, there's just so much more than that. And it makes me think a lot about
I'm sorry, I make it so much
No,
emotional.
this is a great emotion. This is great. And I'm learning a lot as well. Now, let's move on.
Yeah.
So going from a top executive to a beginner part-timer meant learning to accept mistakes and stay humble.
Right.
So how did that beginner experience change your leadership at Google and your current brand role as well?
Right. Wow. I still remember the moment, I was scolded off from my young supervisor. She was 19 years old.
Wow.
But, regardless of the age, it was not easy to be, as a beginner. I'm poor beginner, even though I try my best. So especially, maybe I was good at the physical work at Trader Joe's, but I was not at Starbucks.
Oh.
Now I always made a mistake, and then I didn't remember the correct the recipe.
Right.
And also, people really try difficult or different kinds of drinks, right? They ask for
3 pumps.
Yeah, 3 pumps, but
Half sugar.
and then do you know line the cup?
I don't know what that is.
I mean, they ask a line the cup with the syrup, and you have to line inside
So it
the
looks
cup.
pretty.
Looks pretty,
Okay.
that kind of thing. And then they ask for temperature, certain temperature, 140. Why is 140? And they
Just drink
ask
your
for,
drink.
and then please get the whipped cream in the bottom,
Oh, wow.
not on the top, on the bottom. So many customizations. So
Right.
actually, I was a hard time. But the thing is that I always thought that until that time, I had thought that, okay, if you do your best, you can be a good at everything. But I realized that, there are certain things I cannot do.
Right.
I always be a beginner, poor beginner. So, it makes me very, how to say, humility, humble.
Right.
So it's kind of thing, if you are smart, if you're good at everything, you cannot put yourself in others in a position or shoes, right? So I think at that moment, just being a poor beginner just makes me really humble and try to understand others.
Right.
So that's really makes me a good leader. I can wait until they grow. So that makes me kind of different to before and then.
Definitely.
And then, I have been practicing kendo for 17 years now. I'm still beginner.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, I bet, I cannot beat even the 1 year kind of kendo player. So okay, there are certain things, okay, accept.
And that's
accept
okay.
it. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
And then, okay, just, try to your best. That's more important than the being good at everything.
Right,
So
right.
I just learning, try to learn and growing up.
Being humble.
Being humble, yeah.
Gaining that
Yeah,
humility.
yeah.
Now, listeners, if you're just tuning in, we are speaking to writer Lois Kim here in the studio. Now, at Trader Joe's, you saw the principle of take your time and do it right. How did a method that looks maybe insufficient and inefficient on the surface create real efficiency and deep focus in the offline world? And what can maybe Korean companies and founders learn about building a people-centered culture?
Yeah, I have a little fun story. During my very first week at Trader Joe's, I was told to stack bell peppers by color, like green. There are 4 colors: green, red, yellow, orange. 4 layers each. So now I, bell peppers.
Yeah.
Their shapes are all different,
Right.
They're small and big, and then they're irregular. And then, stack them neatly. It's not good, easy task.
Yeah.
So I spent 3 hours to 4 layers of green, red, another 4 layers of red, yellow and orange. At that time, why I'm doing this? Based on the Google efficiency mindset,
This
why
is
I'm
not
this?
efficient.
People will, sort it out. They will just pick one. So why are you doing this? And then what is so efficient? Maybe this was wrong decision to work in a Trader Joe's. And then I figured, I just realized 2 things. One, people, there are 4 layers, so beautiful.
Right.
If they plan to buy red or green, they ended up buying 4 of them because they're so beautiful. Okay, when I tried to make a japchae, maybe I thought, I need the green and red, and then you just see the 4 colors. I want to buy all of them, and they buy all of them.
Really?
So it helps sales. Second of the grocery store's issue is that the waste. The fresh food. 40% is kind of waste,
really?
right? And they bruised, they
And people are touching it.
touching it.
Yeah.
They're softened, so they don't want them. But since they are pretty, they're arranged very neatly. People just take, just
From the
one by
top.
one from the top. So just until the last one, they're all good. They're in good shape.
Really?
So that helps the sales as well. That's the efficiency. That is the productivity at Trader Joe's, which is very, very different from what I knew
Right.
at Google, right?
How interesting.
So that's a good finding, good discover. So
Yeah.
every time or every situation, being efficient can be defined differently. So you can judge.
Right.
Yeah. So that's really just eye-opening moment for me.
Because generally we would think faster the better, but because you took time,
Right.
you do reduce waste,
Right.
but also that's very eco-friendly as
So,
well.
Right. So doing right
Uh-huh.
is more important than doing quickly.
Right. And I think that applies to everything.
Everything,
Right? Even in relationships and physical training and whatnot. I love that. Now, can you share maybe your last words with our listeners today? I don't want to end the interview, but if you can.
Okay. I really always I emphasize this. Just take action today. So that's very important. I think everyone want to be a high performer or good at something, but and then they spend a lot of time to planning. Of course, planning is important, but doing the taking action is more important. When I was at Google, I provide a monthly mentoring program to high schoolers. And then at that time, I visited Busan to meet a lot of Busan, the high school students. And then one time, one of the students came to me, I think 2 weeks ago, and then, Lois 선생님, and then, you do not remember me, but I do remember you visit my school.
Wow.
And then what you emphasized at that time, study English. I always say that at that time, said that. So, and then, since then, I spent a lot of time in English. Now I'm hired at a global company.
Uh-huh.
And then I just thought about that. There are many kids there, right? But this kid, listened to me, and then he took action right away, and it made the big difference, right? There are many people listen to my saying, oh, English is very important, and you do that, but only few people just take action.
Right.
So that makes difference. So, I really want to emphasize again, just take action. That today.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
I love that. And we have about 1 minute. Can you share, in your view, what are the key traits of someone who truly just excels at work?
We call it 일잘러. High performers. They're different in sharing their weakness. I think it is vulnerability. When I work at Google, after each project, we share the wrap-up report. Of course, we share what worked well, but we share what didn't work, what didn't go well. And then it makes, high performer different. They are willing to share details. Even the small mistakes, missteps, or misprocessed, sometimes others notice. They themselves only know. They didn't, share them. They didn't need to share them, but they do. But that's confidence.
Right.
And then it helps others to not repeat the same mistake.
Right.
So I think, high performer is different in sharing their vulnerability. So they are open, honest, transparent. It helps others to learn from them.
Right,
And
right.
it's kind of grow together.
Right,
So
right.
that's kind of the one thing,
Wow.
one unique characteristics of high performers
Right.
or 일잘러.
Sharing your weakness, being vulnerable, and making that into a lesson for others. I love that. Well, that's going to do it for today's The Interview, speaking with writer Lois Kim here in the studio, also known as 정김경숙, our writer here. And thank you so much for being here with us today. 오늘 로이스김, 정김경숙 작가님과 함께 이야기 나눠봤는데요. 작가님 감사합니다.
네, thank you for having me.
Thank
감사합니다.
you.
From the heart of Busan to the pulse of the world, global city, local voices, this is Busan Worldwide.
Welcome back to Busan Worldwide. I'm your host, Stephanie Yoon. Hope you're having a wonderful morning so far. Now, we have lots of messages coming in about the interview. We have Lee Jang-lee messaging in saying this is very motivating. Absolutely. And we also have Sejin-lee messaging in saying, Stephanie, you look really excited right now. Yes, that was definitely an exciting interview and very motivating and encouraging interview here in the studio. We also have 주브로님 and 고수님 just messaging in. Jerry님 saying, 영어 공부 하겠습니다. Yes, and they're saying that they wanted to start from January 1st, but yes, start from December 1st, just in case you want to quit in the middle. Maybe you can start now a little bit earlier so you can always catch up as well. And today's text topic question was, in your view, what are the key traits of someone who truly excels at work? Let's check out some of the messages. We have Jenny in Hong Kong saying, for them, they think time management is very important, to use time efficiently. And then also, of course, keeping good relationship with people is also important because that's the key factor in living a good life and working with other people. Absolutely, I agree. And let's see. Sajin님 saying, I believe ownership is one of the most important thing that you should have for your success. It's really related to responsibility and accountability. Yes, when you believe it's your job and your work, then you will try harder. Absolutely agree with you there. Well, thank you so much for messaging in. With that, we're going to jump into our next segment. And now it's time for Correspondent Reports. Let's turn to Vietnam for the latest updates. Our correspondent 정리나 is on the line. 네, 오늘은 베트남 소식 들어보겠습니다. 베트남 하노이에서 정리나 통신원, 안녕하십니까?
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 반갑습니다. So let's jump into our first topic. Weather conditions across Southeast Asia have become extremely unusual. Reports describe the region as facing the heaviest rainfall seen in 300 years. So please tell us more. 최근 동남아시아에 기록적인 폭우가 내리고 있는데요. 상황이 얼마나 심각한가요?
네, 지금 동남아시아는 그야말로 기후 재앙에 직면해 있습니다. 이 태국 남부 하냐이에 하루 335mm라는 300년 만에 기록적인 폭우가 쏟아졌는데요. 이 베트남 역시 중남부 지방을 중심으로 막대한 피해를 입고 있습니다. 지난 15일부터 이어진 폭우와 홍수로 이 베트남에서만 벌써 100명 가까이 목숨을 잃었고 이로 인한 경제적 피해도 우리 돈으로 무려 7,300억 원에 달합니다.
그렇군요. 피해 규모가 정말 큰데요. Southeast Asia is experiencing what many experts are calling a climate disaster. In Hat Yai in southern Thailand, a record of 335 millimeters of rain fell in a single day, the most in 3 centuries. Vietnam is also suffering severe damage, particularly across its central and southern regions. Nearly 100 people have already lost their lives since the heavy rains began back in 15th, and economic losses have reached an estimated 730 billion won. While significant damage has also been reported in Indonesia and Sri Lanka. What is behind this sudden surge in rainfall? 베트남, 태국뿐만이 아니라 인도네시아와 스리랑카까지 피해가 정말 크다고 들었는데요. 왜 이렇게 갑자기 비가 많이 오는 걸까요?
네, 전문가들은 라니냐 현상과 음의 인도양 다이폴이란 현상이 동시에 발생하면서 이 동남아 상공이 하나의 거대한 습기 엔진이 되었다고 분석합니다. 이 두 대양에서 공급된 막대한 수증기가 이 지구 온난화와 만나면서 이 베트남 당락성 같은 곳에는 일주일간 무려 1,800mm가 넘는 물폭탄을 쏟아붓게 됩니다.
그렇군요. 과학적으로도 상당히 이례적인 상황인데요. Experts say the combination of a La Nina event and a negative Indian Ocean dipole has effectively turned the atmosphere over Southeast Asia into a massive moisture engine. Large amounts of water vapor from 2 oceans intensified by global warming produce extreme rainfall, more than 1,800 millimeters in just 1 week in places such as Dalag province. And on top of all of this, a new typhoon is approaching as well. 여기에 새로운 태풍까지 접근 중이라고요?
네, 제15호 태풍 코토가 현재 베트남 동해상에서 접근 중입니다. 문제는 이 태풍의 움직임이 아주 불길하다는 점인데요. 이 시속 3km라는 아주 느린 속도로 이동하면서 힘을 비축하고 있고 이동 경로도 계속 바뀌는 등 예측이 매우 어렵습니다. 이 베트남 기상당국은 오늘부터 이 태풍이 방향을 틀어서 이미 수해를 입은 베트남 남중부 지역으로 향할 가능성이 높다고 예보하면서 이 추가 피해에 대한 우려도 커지고 있습니다.
그렇군요. Now, Typhoon Koto, the 15th typhoon of the season, is now moving in from the East Sea off Vietnam. What is raising concern is its very slow movement, around 3 kilometers per hour, allowing it to gather strength along with highly unpredictable shifts in its path. Weather authorities warn that starting on the 1st, the typhoon is likely to turn toward Vietnam's already flood-stricken south-central region, raising fears of further damage. With that, let's turn to our next story. An incident that has shocked both Korea and Korean community abroad. The body of a Korean man was found inside a suitcase in Ho Chi Minh City, and the suspect is reportedly linked to a Korean organized crime group. So let's hear a bit about this. 다음 소식 볼게요. 호치민시에서 한국인 남성의 시신이 여행 가방 안에서 발견됐는데요. 용의자가 한국의 조직폭력배라고 합니다. 이 소식 전해주시죠.
네, 아주 끔찍한 사건입니다. 지난달 23일 베트남 호치민시 한 고급 아파트 단지 인근에서 파란색 대형 여행 가방에 담긴 한국인 남성의 시신이 발견됐는데요. 현지 경찰은 현장 근처에서 도주한 한국인 남성 2명을 용의자로 긴급 체포했습니다. 한국 경찰에 따르면 이 중 한 명인 20대 홍모 씨가 경북 지역 관리 대상 조직 폭력배인 것으로 드러났습니다.
그렇군요. Now, on the 23rd of last month, the victim's body was discovered in a large blue suitcase near a luxury apartment complex in Ho Chi Minh City. Local police immediately arrested 2 Korean men who attempted to flee the scene. According to police in Korea, one of them, a man in his 20s surnamed Hong, is a known organized crime member under surveillance in Gyeongbuk region. Now, what was the relationship between the suspects and the victim. 이 피해자와 용의자들은 어떤 관계로 알려져 있나요?
네, 아직 정확한 범행 동기 등은 수사 중입니다만 이 피해자 역시 캄보디아 등지에서 활동하던 사기 범죄 조직, 이른바 스캔 조직의 일원이었던 것으로 파악됐습니다.
I see. So while the exact motive remains under investigation, authorities say the victim was also connected to a scam organization operating in Cambodia and other regions as well. Now, this appears to be linked to the employment fraud as well in Cambodia that we reported on recently. 지금 보도된 캄보디아 범죄 조직 문제와도 연결되는 부분이 있을까요?
네, 맞습니다. 이 피해자는 캄보디아 범죄 단지에서 활동하다 베트남으로 넘어온 것으로 보이는데요. 현재 베트남 공안이 수사를 진행 중이고 향후 한국 경찰과의 공조를 통해 국내 송환 여부가 결정될 예정입니다.
그렇군요. So the Vietnamese Public Security Ministry is currently leading the investigation, and any decision on repatriation will be made in coordination with Korean police as well. And finally, let's check out our final topic. We have an important warning for anyone planning a trip to Vietnam. A new type of card-related crime is spreading rapidly in the popular tourist city of Nha Trang. 마지막으로 베트남 여행을 계획 중이신 분들은 꼭 아셔야 할 소식인데요. 유명 관광지인 나트랑에서 신종카드 범죄가 기승을 부리고 있다고요?
네, 마사지 숍을 이용했다가 신용카드 IC 칩을 바꿔치기 당하는 이른바 신종 스키밍 범죄 피해가 속출하고 있습니다. 최근 야짱의 한 마사지 가게를 다녀온 한국인 관광객들이 귀국 후에 필리핀이나 홍콩 등지에서 수백만 원에서 천만 원까지 결제됐다는 문자를 받는 등 황당한 일들이 발생하고 있습니다.
그렇군요. So several Korean tourists have recently fallen victim to a sophisticated IC chip swapping scheme after visiting massage shops. Upon returning home, they received notifications of unauthorized charges ranging from several million won to as much as 10 million won from places like Philippines or Hong Kong. Now, how is this possible when the card itself is never lost? 카드를 잃어버리지도 않았는데도 피해가 발생하는 이유는 무엇인가요?
네, 범인들의 수법이 아주 교묘하기 때문입니다. 손님들이 마사지를 받는 동안 탈의실 사물함에 넣어둔 신용카드를 꺼내 이 카드의 핵심인 IC 칩만 떼어내어서 이 가짜 칩이나 다른 사람의 칩과 바꿔치기해 놓는 것입니다. 이 피해자는 카드가 그대로 있으니 범죄 사실을 전혀 눈치채지 못하다가 며칠 뒤 범인들이 훔친 칩을 이용해서 해외에서 사용할 때 비로소 알게 됩니다.
그렇군요. 정말 교묘한 수법인데요. So the method is highly deceptive. While customers are receiving their massages, the criminals open the locker, remove the card, extract only the IC chip, and replace it with a fake or another person's chip. So because the physical card remains with the victim, the fraud often goes unnoticed until the stolen chip is used overseas days later. Now, listeners, if you are planning to go to Vietnam or just travel with the year-end travel season approaching, we do highly recommend that you keep your credit cards just with you all the time, and blocking transactions outside the destination country or lowering the single transaction limit can also reduce risk as well. So let's always be careful as we travel as well. And that's going to do it for today's updates. Thank you for the latest updates coming from Vietnam. 오늘은 여기까지 듣겠습니다. 오늘 소식 잘 들었습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다.
All right, and that was Ms. Chong Nina, based in Vietnam, Hanoi. And listeners, that's all we have prepared for you today. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, do tune in tomorrow at 11:05 a.m. Hope you have a wonderful first day of December, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.